Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I decided to change my mind about a minor issue. I never change my mind about major issues, sometimes a minor issue. And that is the Indian issue, right? These two Indian females who were killed in California on the beach, Panther Beach, Yellow Beach, the Keyhole, what have you. And so I came across something that reminded me of another Indian connection, right? India Ari. Now, Ari is a play on words for Ari, which goes back to Haro Ari. It's another name for Christ. In the Greek mythological system, Ari is a deity of chaos and discord, not the same as the Igbo Ari. It's like them trying to disrespect God and his son, what have you. So I came across this fireworks incident in a video that was released recently. It has to do with this little girl who was killed in California. And her name was Lan Doan. I'm probably not saying this right. And it's a play on words for lane and odd, and do and lane, and lay and do, and alpha, and so on and so forth. And that connects to the Fairlane shooting at the mall. And the Fairlane shooting connects to the fireworks harassment that I experienced yesterday. Has to do with them fuming me and poisoning me to make it so that various incidents that were occurring would be worse. And the word fire is a play on words for F-airy, and for a play on words for fairy. Fairy, F-A-I-R-Y, and F-E-R-R-Y, which has to do with Greek mythology and faring souls, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have the Pharisees, Luciferian, there's a lot of connections there. The connections go on, but there's some things that stick out right away that tends to be the same, the main message that they're sending. Okay, they're sending it to me, and they're also sending it to people who are occultists. I'm not a cult. I'm not an occultist. That's stupid. I'm not into that madness. Also, there was a Tom McDonald video where he points at his brain, and then he does a kind of gesture that symbolizes slitting the throat for killing, right? So they're trying to mess with my brain, and they fueled me heavily to mess with my brain last night. Okay, so the person who reported on the fireworks incident, her name was Brittany Erman, right? So Brit and Y-E, ear man, ear moon. There's a lot of different stuff you can get from that wordplay here. So also it's important to note that the mother of the Chinese female who was killed looks like this female from this female from an AT&T commercial where it says, "Leave Callie a message, send her love," what have you. And this also connects to a fireworks incident I covered, I want to say maybe a year or two ago. It's been a while. And it was an Esparto fireworks disaster where this young gentleman and other gentlemen who were killed in a fireworks explosion in a facility. Okay. And again, you see the word spare, to spare, and it says E-SPAR. Okay. Now, that has to do with martial arts sparring, mental sparring, what have you. Now, this you can imagine that this stuff is a bit of a pain to discuss. But there's a lot of people who might want answers in regards to their families being killed, the Indian females, the Esparto group. This one father lost at least 2 sons, if I remember correctly. It's rather unfortunate. Also, this Asian female, at least she looks Asian, who was killed. Also, yeah, the person who was charged with he had over 100 pounds of fireworks, according to the news. His name was Earl de Castro. It's a play on words for ear, deal, Castro. The Castro is a homosexual district in San Francisco. And the person who died in the Esparto's fireworks incident had ties to San Francisco. And one of the pictures he had of him, it was either him or his friend. He had a sweater that said the mission. I used to be in the mission area, and we used to, I'd go there for the fireworks incident. I'd go there to visit my brother. My older brother lived in San Francisco from like 2008 to like 2018 or something like this, right? And I'd go there and visit him in the neighborhood that he was in. It was like perhaps a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. There was a lot of those guys there, and I don't want to get too much into detail there, but that connects to this case here. And there's various people that these people look like. One of the victims there looked like a lot of people I came across in life. A Sereno from Gilroy, a person who might have been the same person as Sereno from Gilroy, who was friends with a worker who used to work by at my parents' house named Bob, who was like stealing stuff and stuff like this, right? Also looked like a Sereno I seen in San Jose, right? And some other people as well. And strange enough, that guy, who died in this fireworks incident was probably affiliated with the northern, was probably a Norteño, affiliated with the northern Hispanic gang. And so they seem to be trying to show me things with these murders on top of everything else. And they seem to be mocking me about things, especially things related to sex, related to females I dated, stuff like this here. Okay, so I covered the Fairlane thing with Tom McDonald. Okay, so this guy with a hat in the world, there's a World Cup incidents in California. Those 2 people stabbed in San Jose and 2 people shot at World Cup. They basically go there to watch the World Cup, and there was a lot of Hispanic people there, and 2 people were shot in San Francisco where they went to view it there, and then 2 people are stabbed by San Pedro Square in downtown San Jose. And keep in mind, I was born in San Jose. I used to live by San Jose. I used to live in San Jose at various points in life, what have you. There's a lot of connections there. And this guy in the video had a red A's hat, an Oakland's A's hat that was modified to have, an American flag colored A on the A's hat. Okay, and I believe, and that goes back to them saying that they want America to be seen as the alpha and so on and so forth. This is cheesy. If you're a serious person, you don't want to make a fool of your country. You don't want people to actually believe the stupid propaganda. You don't want the stupid propaganda to be forced on them. You don't want people to be forced to date the military or the police or politicians or school teachers or whoever, right? People in cults and government cults. People are related to the founding fathers. You don't want people to be forced to date these people. You want people to have their freedom, right? You want people to put God before country. You don't want to persecute Jesus. You don't want people to be harassing Jesus on July 4th. Oh, that's important. I forgot. I should have said this first. So it was 250, right? 250-year anniversary. So the 2 is the B. The 5 is the E, right? A, B, C, D, E. And the 0 is the O. And that scrambled is Ebo and Obi. And I've been talking about Obi in my videos all the time. There's several ways to spell Ebo. One is IBO, one is EBO, and one is IGBO, where the G is silent. Okay. So, again, Kuro Obi means black belt. Obi in the Igbo language means King, Heart, Hut, Essence, Center, Temple, Core. And the word Obi, OBI, is Igbo spelled backwards, right? The Kuro, means black. The cure, the reproductive cycle, Kuro. And the Obi means belt, a sign of rank. And the Obi in the Igbo language means King, Heart, Hut, Essence, Center, Temple, Core. It goes back to the king, the rank. In the proper context, it means Christ. Now, to people in the occult, it could also mean witchcraft. I despise witchcraft. I call it bitchcraft. Okay, it's about, manipulating people and their conceptions of social work, as with psychology, chemistry, pharmacology, what have you. And they use a lot of rape and coercion to create a sort of magic spell environment where people are messing the head. That trauma-based mind control has everything to do with it. So yeah, that's part of what's happened here. I went way over time here. Now you see how I had to catch up on so much stuff. And there's stuff that I kind of skipped over. And there's details I skipped, and there's wordplay I can go over, and I could go on and on and on about this stuff, but I have to do things like, keep up my moral repetition in regards to reading scripture and exploring it, so that's keeping me from that a little bit. And it's creating various problems for me when it comes to organization. They do things to keep me from being organized. For example, if I buy a notepad that has some kind of problems with it, it makes it so my body goes numb when I touch it. I have to wash my hands a bunch of times all the time. And so I'm writing stuff down on computer paper, and I have to draw the lines, because if I buy regular paper, they do things in a way because they control the fumes in the air, and they use various technologies to make it so that I have to do things in a much harder way than I otherwise would. But again, I can't stress this enough, that my life is the greatest life ever possible. And even if you're just a regular person, you're better off living a moral life and being persecuted and being some kind of worm helping child molesters and their allies, and they're playing this stupid child molester game. See my other videos I recently posted as well, where it talks about Isaiah 66 and Proverbs 27, where it makes it clear that if you're smart, you're not going to keep reproducing. Okay, the people who keep reproducing are fallen, the idiots who lead idiots, right? So look at Proverbs 27, verse 12. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Okay, the simple in the context of Proverbs, according to Bible Gateway, when it's explaining what simple means in Proverbs chapter 1, in the footnotes, it means someone who is without moral direction, okay, inclined to evil, gullible, morally deficient. All right, they're simple. They're not smart. They're a simple fool. So fool means someone who's morally deficient. It's according to the same footnotes. If you look at it and you review it again and again, you see that that's what it must be getting at. And that's why they felt comfortable enough to write that down. They're not necessarily always right about everything, but they're right about that.